It was 1977 and it was a golden jubilee, no, silver jubilee, for the Queen. So the village that I lived in, Grandpound Road, they really took to celebrating the Queen. I think every village across the whole country did the same thing. Um, and we had like a sports day and a fancy dress and like a tug of war and all those kinds of things. And then all the old people in the village, and I think it must have been like probably the over 77s, because it was 1977. It might have been the over 80s. I'm
Yeah.
not really quite sure. But they all got this very special, like, picnic dinner. So everyone else had a picnic, everyone else had to go and get their own food. But in this particular occasion, all the old people got put around this table and they got waited on. They got like service with their sandwiches. And what I love about this picture is um, that's my granddad, Farmer John's, here on
Mm.
the right, left, not sure which way you look at it.
Yeah.
And right behind him is his wife, Florrie. And Farmer had obviously taken it very seriously, because if you can see that, he'd come in a suit jacket and a top hat.
Yeah, I can
I don't
see
know
that.
why he would have owned a top hat. He was a farmer. I have no concept as to why he would have owned a top hat. And then Florrie, his wife, is just has got a headscarf on, like it's a cold day. So the contrast between the two are amazing. And then, yeah, I just think that's just such a great picture of what village life was like in 1977.
Do you know anyone else in the photo?
Yes, I do. I know Mr. Matthews, who is in the other side opposite my granddad, and that is my godmother's dad. And interestingly, in village life, I called him Grandad Matthews. He was not my granddad. And then next to Florrie, which is my grandma, is Grandma Greet, who is also not my grandma, but everyone called her Grandma Greet. So it was, Farmer was Farmer John's, um, then it was Granny John's, and then it was Granny Greet, and then it was Grandpa Matthews. So I had all these collective grannies and granddads who weren't related to me in any shape or form, but everybody just called them Grandma and Grandpa. But these people weren't friends of mine's parents, they were just people who lived in the village. But in the back, sort of halfway along this row, I can't show you, was all I know is she was the village midwife. So she would rock up when babies were born. So there you go.
Do you think that, like, from my research, a lot of people feel like a sense of independence within Cornwall from England, because obviously it's a Celtic nation, like Scotland, Wales, Ireland. Do you think that that affected how people felt about the Jubilee? Because obviously the Queen is like very English.
Where we lived, definitely not. Well, that's the perception that I had. So I would have been 77, 9. I would have been 9. But also, the Queen on her tour, on her Jubilee tour, came to Cornwall. So you'll remember me saying that every time we go to Auntie Sarah's, I say, "Oh, I saw the Queen on this corner," which was like some country lane in the most random and obscure place. But everybody just went to wherever the Queen was going, lined streets, lined Cornish lanes, stood on verges. It was just an absolute honour to have her in the county. I was in the Brownies. We went to see her in Truro. We lined the streets in Truro. We lined this random lane somewhere where she was going from A to B. You know, for us, it was very, very exciting. It was a whole big thing. But that is a child's perception of that at the time.